14 million versus Phil Ivey. Everyone who's been wanting to see him play. 4 million chips. First place is going to get 600,000 US dollars roughly. And there's the trophy for the first ever short deck 250K Hong Kong dollar short deck tournament.
Really soft. Should really have some like 250K chips or something. Something.
Ivy never has anything to say back to Jungleman whenever Jungleman talks, I've noticed, which is funny. Jungleman.
150.
How much?
150.
It's a very interesting dynamic in Heads Up because it's going to be the cutoff in button only, but the button is going to have position throughout the hand. It seems like a funny situation. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Flop is board is ace 9-8 king. That's all. We are playing short deck hold'em. The 2s through 5s have been removed, so only 36 cards in this deck. I'd be betting his straight there.
500.
A flush beats a full house in this game. But everything else is normal. Jungleman just has a pair of 8s.
We saw Jungleman go into the tank for a long time earlier against Ivy on the river with pocket queens.
This would be extra heroic.
Have that.
Just a pair of 8s.
Have that.
Well, I mean, the fact that Jungleman has a jack, I think, is what's making him more likely to call. It makes it less likely that Phil Ivey has either a straight with queen jack, and also it makes it less likely Phil Ivey would have a straight with jack 7. So he does make the call.
And he's going to be shown the nuts.
Yeah, Ivy just hasn't really been messing around too much.
That's a pretty loose call, pair of 8s. Can't sometimes your opponent be bluffing with a better hand?
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah. It's probably shows you queen 8. Or like, you know, jack 9. So I think maybe not an ideal play, but Ivy chips up there. Well, look at this. Jungleman's got a flush draw. 39% chance to hit his flush draw. This is higher than regular no limit hold'em because of the deuces through 5s being removed.
He does also have a couple of runner straight possibilities.
Yep. So he raised pre-flop. He should continuation bet here. He's gonna get Ivy to fold a lot of better hands. But he actually checks, so he's playing a bit passively. Maybe trying to disguise his flush draw potential. And I think Ivy just pushed out 500K. 500. I think Ivy expects Jungleman to bet most aces on the flop. So he thinks his ace 8 is good here.
Yeah, so we've seen Ivy when the game was 3-handed or more, often check backhands like this on the flop.
Check raise all in from Jungleman. And now Ivy's need to think. It's a tough spot for Ivy. He has ace no kicker. Ace 8 is actually one of the worst kickers in the game because ace 7 would be the other one. There is no 5s, 4s, 3s, and 2s. He needs to put Jungleman on a flush draw to make this call. And pretty much exactly a flush draw because King, Queen, and King 10 and Queen 10 are not going to check raise all in here if they don't have a flush draw with it. It would just be too few outs. Now he's thinking, would Jungleman really shove with pocket aces on his flop? Probably not, right? Ace 6, possible, but would he raise pre-flop? I'm not sure. Ace Jack, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for Ivy to think about here is it makes the most sense for Jungleman to play the hands he wants to play like this for value would be 2-pair. And is he really raising Jack 6 pre-flop? Very, very unlikely. He'd probably fold that hand. is he raising ace-6? That's a possibility. He's probably raising the suited combos of ace-6 a decent amount, and it looks like Ivey does let it go.
And Jungleman just muscling his way and winning that pot. It did look like a flush draw. It was a flush draw, but Ivey didn't figure it out.
Yeah, I think Ivey was just expecting to be shown ace-jack a decent amount. Also, possibly a hand like ace-king.
It's possible, yeah. And when you look at your hand, you're like, well, if I make this call and he doesn't have a flush draw, pretty much lost the tournament, right? Like,
Right.
Pretty much exactly. So it's a tough one, but it is heads up. So you just need to try and make the right decision as often as possible. There's no pay jumps anymore. You just got to win now. They're doing kind of like a deuce 7 bounty, where if you win with jack 6 offsuit or 7-6 offsuit, you win the pot. So it's safe to say those hands suck.
I think the bounty also applies to the suited combos.
I'm not sure, actually. Make those hands playable. Well, Jungleman does not have anything here. And check, check. Ivey turns trip 10s. Don't think... Well, Jungleman's been taking stabs at these check pots, so he actually is going to lose some chips here. 200,000. Ivey's not going away here of ace-10. Makes the call. And actually one of Jungleman's stabs not working out for him. He's 0% to win this pot. And a 6 of spades brings a flush on the river. This could sometimes get Jungleman in trouble, just trying to represent a flush.
Well, he is reaching for chips.
He's trying to move him off of. He's trying to move Ivey off of like Queen Jack, or any kind of Queen type hand, or like a weak King. So Jungleman, sometimes when you bet with no equity and then like a card that looks like a good bluffing card comes, you're like, oh, I just got to bluff at this because I just got 9 high. It's not going to work this time. I mean, those look like, that looks like a man thinking about what to bet, not a guy thinking about checking. He's convinced that he needs to make a bluff here. So he's going for big. He's going over bet.
Wow.
He's going 1,950,000 here.
975.
I mean, Ivey's playing heads up. He blocks the nut flush. So when someone tries to make, when you're holding a nut flush card and they're betting this huge, it kind of smells like a bluff a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The question, though, is
He's going to call.
for Phil Ivey, do you just call or do you perhaps consider shoving?
I think your hand is just so strong.
I mean, the question is, would Jungleman overbet a straight here or a lower flush? And if he did, would he fold? I don't think he would really overbet.
It's very hard for him to have
A
a
straight.
straight. Yeah, a straight's very unlikely.
So I think that Ivey is going to go ahead and make the call. Yeah, he does.
You win.
So Jungleman probably would not have
he's
fired
gonna
that
start
river
raising.
raising some of these hands.
We saw him raise earlier with the king 10 off. And Ivey happened to have ace king that time and went all in.
But look, Ivey still calls him with Jack 8 offsuit. Jack 8 offsuit isn't a great hand, right, in this game, but still calling. He's got position. That's the thing. In heads up, you got to raise bigger because the guy on the button's still going to call you wide. I mean, Jungleman did make it pretty big. Doesn't matter though.
525.
Jungleman with mid pair. It's a tricky spot with mid pair when you're out of position, especially when it's a drawy board. A lot of people like to play defense and just check to kind of see what happens. So check, check. Turn is a jack, so Ivey takes the lead, but Jungleman still has a 46% chance to win this pot. He's got a lot of outs. Probably doesn't love his hand.
Yeah, Jungleman's hand now behind, but picks up some visibility.
And actually, if he bets, Ivy probably needs to fold his hand, given he has an 8 kicker. A very bad straight draw. See what he bets. No, he does check, so Ivy should just probably gonna check here. And Ivy with 2 pair now on the river. Jungleman, I think he's just gonna check fold here. It seems unlikely for him to bet all of a sudden. I don't think he thinks his 10 is good that often, but it's not representing too much either. Just check, check, check. I raise pre-flop. It's hard to have a 9 when you're the pre-flop raiser. I think Jungleman does realize that he doesn't have the best hand here too often, so he's actually going to take a stab here. I think he's going... It's probably going to get called. It's like a 425,000 chip bet. Yeah, it's a small bet. Jungleman's targeting like Jack 9. Probably would fold here. Jack King type hands. I think Ivy's just gonna side call with Jack 8. Just thinking like, well, I beat enough hands here. Maybe Jungleman's just making a stab here. I'd like to see Ivy call here. But, you know, take your time, make sure you think it through.
Yeah, it's a pretty small bet. I can't imagine that Ivy is going to fold.
It's a confusing one here, John.
I mean, he doesn't like his 2 pairs. It's a weak 2 pair. He's confused. I think he's just gonna side call. When you're confused, usually you just go side, I call. 375. Yep, there we go.
I'm listening to an idiot. I have a pair of 10s. Nah, I played it so badly.
A nice pot for Ivy. He's grinded up. He's up to 8 million chips.
Jungleman still struggling to win a pot.
Call.
Ivy just checking Jack Queen instead of raising there.
Yeah, just playing these small pots. And they both flop a piece. Jungleman with a straight draw actually has 55% equity, but 38% to win the pot outright. As you can see, it's been broken down to win percentage, tie percentage. Jungleman makes a straight on the turn. Now he's got a big lock on his hand. Should he bet again or check? Well, he's going to opt to bet. Now the question from Ivy's point of view, do you call here with Queen Jack? It's a tough spot.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what size Jungleman bets. I would fold to a pot size bet. I'd probably call a half pot bet.
I think he's going to go right about half, 375.
475.
475.
Yes, 475.
Yeah, I think facing this bet here, I would fold Ivy's hand.
Well, you can't fault Ivy if he does make the call. It is top pair. He's got extra. He's got a straight draw in case he is behind. So he is going to make the call. It is heads up poker. River is a jack.
Check, showdown.
That is straight.
Jungleman's going to win this spot for straight. Just being a bit cautious when the board paired. It's hard for someone to call you with worse on the turn and river. We'll be fixing the audio, guys. Don't worry. Patience.
1,000 more.
Huh?
All right, looks like everything's going smoothly again. So Jungleman's got Queen 9. He's going to take a stab here. Ivy with pocket kings. I think he's going to call here. He is. Ivy is just grinding Jungleman down so hard right now. Let's see if Jungleman can bail it out on the river. He needs a 6 or a jack. Queen's not going to do it. Should go check, check.
Big pair. Big pair? This big?
Big pair. Jungleman in second place. Ivy hasn't really done that crazy of a plays, but he's gone from 4 million to 10 million through. And Ivy was a bit suspicious, actually.
After Jungleman wins that pot, these two players are back to being very close in chip stacks here. Ivy with just a couple 100,000 more chips than Jungleman.
King 9-6 rainbow. So, generally speaking, they have been checking their mid pairs and their over pairs that became mid pairs as well. Is Jungleman going to keep firing here? No, he just checked, so he's going to go along with that strategy. And Ivy's been checking down his mid pairs and check bottom pairs a lot. Ivy has a pair and a straight draw and actually has 46% chance to win. And he got there on the river. Jungleman's going to check again, and Ivy's going to bet. Question is, can Jungleman pick off a bluff? Every time this has happened, check, 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 and check, and Ivy has bet. Ivy has been showing down the goods lately. I don't know why. I don't think Jungleman will bet here. It just seems really weird that he would bet all of a sudden. But maybe he's like he's really mixing up his play, I guess, because he was not taking these lines with these pairs. It just seems very. I don't know. Is this like a blocker bet? It's very weird.
No, I think he's betting for value.
Yeah, it's no good.
I don't think he expects Ivy to ever have a king. Ivy could certainly have a 9.
I mean, I guess what's he trying to get called by? Pocket 10s? An 8?
Right, an 8.
6 is unlikely, given it's a pre-flop raise, right? Pocket King's an ace 10. Okay, well, Jungleman's going to raise. And the way Ivy has been playing, he's going to limp call here of ace 10. Jungleman a little too deep to just ship it in.
No way Ivy's folding here with the how often Jungleman's been raising.
Was it 600?
Now with the blinds up, these pots are getting big. Already 1.6 million in the pot.
Wow.
Look at that flop.
Quad kings.
What's Jungleman gonna do?
Jungleman's confused.
He has to check, right?
Well, because usually you're betting hoping your opponent has trip kings, but you're holding both of the kings, so he's still gonna bet. He's trying to entice him with a small bet, 500,000. Trying to get Ivy to call just ace 10 high. Will Ivy make a mistake? And nice fold by Ivy.
Ivy lets it go.
Come on, Jungleman, just show the kings. He's frustrated. This heads-up match started. Ivy trying to trap with the pocket kings didn't work. Just gonna have to grind out a small pot. And Ivy just insta checks. Let's Jungleman get there. Just checking, checking, checking. Jungleman going to find a value bet here with the 2 pair.
350.
Now Ivy, pocket kings here. Probably feels like he didn't put any chips in pocket kings. Really wants to make a call, just like that's hard. He doesn't beat too much.
Looks like he's putting together raising chips. Yeah, he's going to use his king as his blockers to the nut straight, and he's raising huge.
Yeah. I think insta-fold by Jungleman.
Jungleman lets it go, and another well-timed bluff by Phil Ivey there.
Look, see, that's what I'm saying. Ivy's definitely adjusting. He knows that Jungleman's been watching the stream probably and sees like, oh, I'm just playing pretty solid. Now it's about that time.
Yeah, jack shit.
They're both playing the same hand here.
It's value betting.
Value betting what?
2 pair.
Oh.
What'd you have?
What do you think I had?
Probably had it if I folded.
Big pair.
Ivy's happy about this one.
Yeah, Ivy's happy. Like the bluff he made, just snap went through.
You do like your big pairs.
400.
It's actually 1.2 million in his pot. Jungleman
Wow.
overbets 2 million to 1.2 million. Trying to represent a big hand here.
Only have a pair of 7, but it's not fold.
What's that? Huh?
We get to 10s.
You had 10s?
No, what you have?
I did not have 2 10s.
This conversation's going nowhere.
700.
700,000.
Call.
Ivy's gonna take a flop in position.
Anything to check out?
Oh, yeah.
Both players with middle pair here.
Yeah, middle pair. Generally speaking, this has gone check-check almost always on the flop. Unless there's a change in strategy all of a sudden, but Jungleman's,
Check.
yeah, he's going to check.
Yes, I mean, especially on this board with so many different straight draws.
So they both check, and Jungleman is behind, but he's got a straight draw. He can get a jack or a 6 to make a straight. 39% of the time he'll win some, at least get his chips back. 29% to win outright. It's a tough spot. It's very confusing on whether you should bet or check here with 10-8. I don't even think Jungleman knows.
Yeah, we've seen Jungleman betting in spots like this generally.
These boards, like, you just don't know. Did my opponent improve, or does he have like one pair? I mean, Ivy's not going to fold to this bet because he's got the straight draw. Or 2 pair, I mean, excuse me. So that's a big bet. About pot size, 1,175,000. I think with 2 pair of Ivy. It's a weak 2 pair, so he's not feeling like, he doesn't feel that Jungleman is betting like 1 pair here very often. For value, like king, queen. Is he really checking the flop to pot on turn? Maybe, but maybe a little bit less likely. So Ivy's kind of got a bluff catcher.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ivy should be making this call. I think all the hands that Ivy's behind, Jungleman would bet on the flop.
I don't think Ivy's going to fold. Just want to take some time to analyze the situation. He's probably almost certainly just going to call. Don't think there's any reason to raise here. Actually shoves though.
Wow.
So he's got some read that Jungleman just never has a big hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised by
Oh,
that.
he's
trying
fucking turned for that.
I wonder if he's just doing that to protect his equity.
Yeah, pretty much. It has to be. There's no other reason to go all in than to protect your equity. There are a ton of bad river cards where Ivy has no idea if he's going to get bluffed off his hand. You know, like a queen.
So,
Jack.
so what Ivy's thinking here is Jungleman would not have raised 6-8 preflop.
Which is
If he
probably true.
had Jack 8, he likely would not have raised preflop either, and he
Probably
probably would have bet the flop. And if
King
he had
Jack.
King Jack, it's very likely he would have bet the flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, play that one great. Can we see a river?
Can we see a river? Are they actually going to show him?
I asked already. I don't think.
Huh?
I don't think they can do that. I've asked like 5 times. No, 0.
Swear to God, I misplay every fucking turn today.
Raising Queen
Look.
Jack of clubs.
7.
7
I think
total?
we'll see Jungleman fold this hand.
700.
Huh?
He
700.
might, but you know, he's been losing a lot of pots lately. I don't think he wants to fold. No, he's
Yeah.
calling. So Jungleman is... This is a tough hand to play, ace 7 suited. You flop a pair of aces, you don't know where you're at. Your main thing you want with ace 7 suited is to flop a flush draw. And we know that's hard to do. Even that's hard to do in this
I
game.
mean, even when you flop a straight with this hand, you don't really know where you're at. Well, speaking of which, there's a flush draw.
Ivy with mid pair and a straight draw.
But look,
57%.
Jungle's effective equity is still only 41%. That just shows you
Yeah.
how rare
Check.
flushes come in this game relative to no limit hold'em. And the reason why is because there are so few diamonds left in the deck.
So turn, check. Ivy turns the straight. Jungleman didn't try to stab at this one.
Like, there are only 4 diamonds left in the deck right now.
Nice bet from Ivy. He's going to bet 1 million. Now, Jungleman's probably thinking, man, I can hit a queen. I can hit a diamond. So he has 25% equity, but he's going to let this one go, I think.
No
He's
way,
not?
no way he's folding, no. Jungleman's going to call here on the turn, in my opinion, and then he's going to have some decisions to make if he wants to lead any rivers.
It's tough out of position. I mean, it does seem like he wants to continue. He does have the nut flush draw.
Yeah, Jungleman will not be
So is he
folding.
going to, like, lead on spades?
All in?
All
Wow,
in.
he shoves all in.
Okay, call.
That
Oh.
seems like a misstep.
Yeah.
Ivy calls.
The base queen?
No.
That seems like a big misstep. Doesn't Ivy have a queen here way too often?
Wow.
I don't know why. This is Jungleman's on his tournament life here. Needs to
Well,
hit
he's got 25% equity.
needs to hit a queen to chop. It's one more card to go, or Ivy's going to be the champion.
River
over.
card is a 6, and that is it. Phil Ivey is the winner of the opening event of the Triton Super High Roller Series. And Randy, he just put on a clinic of how to play a heads-up, close out a tournament. Phil Ivey composed the entire time. What do you think about the way that these two players played?
They both played great. I mean, Jungleman looks disappointed. Ivy played very excellent. He played solid throughout. And in heads up, we saw why he's known to be one of the best players out in the game. Jungleman just didn't work out during the heads up play. Played excellent until he got to heads up. Didn't play bad in heads up, just